Donkey Kong Bonanza is the first new Donkey Kong game in over 10 years, and the first 3D one since Donkey Kong 64. On top of that, it's a 3D platformer, something I feel is not as common as they once were, but when we get them, it's exciting. Not to mention being done by the Mario Odyssey devs, and being the first big release for the Switch 2 since the console's launch, Donkey Kong Bonanza had a lot to live up to, and I'm happy to report that it exceeds those expectations. Let's talk about it. Hi guys, DPX here reviewing today Donkey Kong Bonanza. Now before we get started, you know what to do. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell, leave a comment, or I will bury you alive. Starting off with the good, Donkey Kong Bonanza is a 3D platformer, sorta. Naturally, and already happening, people compare this game to the likes of, you know, Astrobot or Banjo-Kazooie or Kirby in the Forgotten Land, or most notably Super Mario Odyssey. It is from the same devs after all, but it is very different. I guess it is a 3D platformer, but it's like a 3D destruction platformer. It's closer to like Red Faction Gorilla or Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction. Anything and everything is destructible, and it's a lot of fun to just wreck and destroy everything in your path. This helps Donkey Kong Bonanza become very addicting. It's a game where you have objectives and you can streamline it if you wanted to, but you just get distracted by all the destructible environments and just destroy them. You just want to destroy everything. It's so much fun and really helps set this game apart from other 3D platformers. But the destructible environments also help with traversal. You can pull a giant boulder from the ground and use it as a weapon. You can surf on it, and depending on the material of like the thing you're surfing on, you can surf on it to get past lava or water or spikes. In addition to that, you can use it for a zip line or just destroying stuff. You know, you can use it as a weapon too. You can also keep going down and create a path, you know? It's just such a unique spin on a 3D platformer. There's also 2D sections that are like these sort of like side things, you know, which are pretty cool, and they're like nice callbacks to some of the earlier Donkey Kong games, and some even recreate levels from DKC. But even when not destroying stuff, this game is really big, and it feels nice. Running around as Donkey Kong when not destroying things feels really good. Being able to climb things and finding ways around certain areas is cool and all. The story is interesting too. It's nothing much, but there are more layers than you might think. Still not a whole lot, but still more than you'd think. You see, Donkey Kong likes bananas, and that's basically all he wants. And there is a company in the game called The Void, where they hoard all the bananas underground and all that. But then DK finds a very young Pauline who is lost and wants to get back to the surface. So even though you don't go to a Donkey Kong game for the story, they still establish an interesting dynamic there about you have two characters teaming up, one wanting to keep digging downwards and the other wanting to get back to the surface. And I also love that Donkey Kong's whole motivation in this game is bananas. I said that the story is more layered than you'd expect, but it really all just comes down to Donkey Kong really wants bananas. And you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. But also, that leads us to the next thing, and that's Pauline. When she was announced to be in this game, I was confused. I wasn't against it necessarily, but I couldn't help but ask why. Like, it kind of seemed like a young Pauline was only there to debunk the unofficial yet mostly agreed upon Mario/Donkey Kong timeline. But after playing the game, I can't imagine this game without Pauline. She adds, for lack of a better term, humanity to this game, and it's cute seeing DK care for her and to have her on his shoulder. Even the voice acting I thought was going to get old for me. Nothing against the actual performance, but having Pauline speak in English when every other character in this game speaks in grunts, I thought that was going to be awkward and get old. Nope, I really enjoyed it. And the voice acting was really good too. I wouldn't say it should be up for like best performance this year or anything like that, but for what I was expecting, Pauline's voice acting was really cool. But when I say I can't imagine this game without Pauline, it's not just the stuff I mentioned, she also contributes to the actual gameplay. Like, there will be certain areas or whatnot blocked off because they're covered in this purple stuff, and you use Pauline singing to tear off the purple stuff, along with using her singing almost as like a waypoint. I thought it was a cool way to incorporate Pauline into this game. And as seen from the trailers and the direct, there are transformations for Donkey Kong. He can turn into like a bigger, buffer gorilla, an ostrich, a zebra, I didn't actually watch the Direct, so I don't know what would be a spoiler. I remember knowing about those beforehand, so that's why I name-dropped them. But there are more, and they are really cool and allow for some mechanics and abilities that you can't typically use as normal DK. Donkey Kong also has a skill tree. You can enhance the abilities of the transformations, give him more health, buff his strength. You know what a skill tree is. And I never actually thought Donkey Kong would have one, but he does, and it works. There's even some customization options in this game for Donkey Kong and Pauline. You can customize DK's pants, tie, fur, and Pauline's outfit, and they can even change like your stats a little bit, like maybe make it a little easier to heal, or make chests appear more often, or whatnot. And yeah, there's chests in here. They have like certain collectibles in there. I didn't really write that down, but yeah, there are chests in this game. Some Donkey Kong characters even make some cameo appearances. Again, I'm not entirely sure who was and wasn't revealed before the game came out, but I do know Cranky Kong was shown before, so he does show up, and it's cool to see him. But other DK characters show up too, and it's so cool. As for other things, I really dig the presentation, even though it's a very different type of 3D platformer. Looking at the presentation, you can just tell it's made by the Mario Odyssey devs, and I mean that in the best way. The music is really good too. I guess not too much I can remember too well, but it's one of those soundtracks where you look through it after the fact and you realize how good the music is. There's even some remixes of some iconic Donkey Kong songs that I won't name because I want you to experience them all yourselves, but it's so cool. I also love the aesthetic of the game. It looks cartoony, but in a way that it should, and Donkey Kong's redesign has grown on me. I never even really hated the design to begin with, but I really love it now. And lastly, the visuals. This game looks amazing. I'll have a bit more to say about the performance, but in terms of visuals, it's another W for the Switch 2. Moving on to things that I'm mixed about, these are either issues that aren't too big, or it's stuff surrounding the game as opposed to something that the game does particularly wrong or anything like that, or something to be aware of. And one thing to be aware of is spoilers. Now, what is there to possibly spoil in Donkey Kong Bonanza? Well, certain characters make appearances, certain bosses, certain areas, certain abilities you unlock, and I got spoiled on almost all of them. Not because I seek them out, but because a lot of YouTubers post compilation videos of all the bosses in this game, or all the areas in this game, and put the final boss in the thumbnail or whatnot, and YouTube throws it on your homepage, despite you not really seeking it out at all. So just be careful. The other thing I was mixed on was motion controls. Yes, there are motion controls in this game. I didn't play with the Joy-Cons, so I don't know how much they are shoved down your throat there. But playing with the Pro Controller, there are some sections when you are in a minecart throwing stuff and you use the motion controls to aim. I didn't hate it, and you can easily turn it off, which is what I did, but it was kind of annoying that it was the default option. Again, it's not really shoved down your throat, and it was only really there during the minecart sections, and also you can shake the Pro Controller or whatever controller to, like, transform, which I actually think that's cool. But again, I don't love the motion controls, and I don't love how it defaulted to that, but then again, you can turn them off. Moving on to the bad, there are a couple of things. One is, while Donkey Kong Bonanza mostly performs well, there are times where there are clear frame rate drops. And I get it, there's a lot going on in this game, especially with the destructible environments, but still, it is a little worrying that the second game on Switch 2 is already pushing the system to its limits and not in the best way. Not all the time, sure, but it is a little worrying. And I'm just gonna say right now, because of the chatter about this topic, I can totally see why this wouldn't really work so well on a Switch 1, because there's just too much going on to where the Switch 1 would struggle with this game. You can hypothetically get it to work on Switch 1, but it would not be good. And secondly, and perhaps my biggest issue with Donkey Kong Bonanza, is the motion controls. Yeah, I don't know why I said motion controls. I meant to say camera controls. Why the fuck did I say motion controls? I'm gonna admit something to all of you. I think I'm pretty bad at this game, and most of the times where I died, I'd say they were my fault and not the game's fault, but there were times I died because of the camera. It's not so bad during normal traversal. When there's more going on with enemies and picking up boulders and whatnot, the camera doesn't really follow DK like you would expect it to, so it becomes disorienting and often hard to tell what the fuck is happening. Overall, despite some issues I mentioned, like the frame rate drops and the wonky camera, it does not do enough to detract from the overall experience of Donkey Kong Bonanza. Just how colorful and exciting this game is, the overall presentation, and of course, the destructible environments make Donkey Kong Bonanza a game that I will be going back to time and time again well after the credits rolled. It's perhaps one of the most unique 3D platformers I played. It's addicting, satisfying, refreshing, and overall infinitely fun, and is a system seller for the Switch too. In the end, I'm gonna give Donkey Kong Bonanza a 10 out of 10. Is it better than Odyssey? I don't know. You know, they are very different platformers, you know, more different than you would probably expect. And Mario Odyssey might be my favorite 3D platformer of all time the more I think about it, so I'm not sure. We'll see how time treats this game. But right now, Donkey Kong Bonanza is a 10 out of 10. What do you guys think? Have you guys played Donkey Kong Bonanza? If you have, do you guys like the game, not like the game? And if you haven't played the game, do you want to play it, not want to play it? Anything about the game, let me know down below. Anyways, if you like the video, come subscribe, or I will bury you alive.